Hello, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Real Talk. I hope you're all doing well, keeping safe. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. This is a platform for open minded individuals to come together, share their ideas, share their experience, so that we can help each other and, try and make a positive impact on this world and on humanity. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, like, share the videos. It helps us reach more people. And if you want to come on the channel, then please give us a shout. All our information will be in the description. You can get in touch via Facebook. We have a page, so please like the page. Email, Twitter. So there's all forms of social media. You can get in touch with us and come on the show and share your experience. And someone out there might learn something from it. So it is my great pleasure welcoming two new guests on the show, Marga and Ali. Welcome, guys, and thank you so much for joining me. How are you doing?
Very well. Thank you, Rahil, for having us.
No, of course.
Hi, thank you very much for welcoming us. And yeah, I'm well as well. Thanks.
Great, guys. It's a real pleasure. And before we get, dig deep into it, I just want both of you to just introduce yourself and what you do for for your careers or your work, and then we can get started. So, ladies first, Marga.
Thank you. We'll do it this way then. That's perfect.
Yeah.
So I'm Margot, everyone. Nice to talk in this channel. I'm really happy. A bit about myself. I'm French. If you can't hear my accent, then I cannot do anything about it. I would call myself actually a citizen of the world because I've lived in different countries for work, and I've also traveled a lot. So this is how I actually start to call myself now, rather than only French. This is a bit more exotic.
Yeah.
I am someone who's been working for a few years, I would say right now, 7 or 8 years in the finance industry. So yeah, as a woman, it has meant a lot of things for me that I'll explain a bit later. But basically, I've done a lot of different jobs within this industry, from merger and acquisition to auditing, consulting, and like corporate finance within corporations as well. And here I am here.
Great.
That's it.
Thank you, Margot. Ali?
Hi, guys. My name's Ali Qasim Khatao, and I actually, when Rahil asked that question, the thought that came up to me was that I actually help people live better lives. What I mean by that is that I'm actually a life coach, and what I do is I help people transform their limiting beliefs to much more powerful, empowering beliefs, and help them dig deep within their own universe, and dig their answers from inside them. So more about that later. A bit more about myself. I spent 12 years within the investment banking world, and only this year in March I fully transitioned over from investment banking to coaching.
Wow. That's complete contrasting careers there.
Yeah.
You see, the funny thing is, I'm still in the finance industry, obviously accounting, but both of you, we've all worked in the finance sector of some sort or another, auditing or merger or whatever it might be, and both of you have now transitioned into something new or something different completely from what you were doing before. So, it's very interesting because I'm sure you had a moment or some moments in your life when you thought that, this is not for me and I want to do something else. So again, I'll start with Margot. When did you feel, or what was that moment or moments in your life when you thought, I need to step out of this finance industry and, do something that you enjoy or you're passionate about?
So interestingly, as I was working as a busy lady in finance for many years, I suddenly had some body aches and emotions that I didn't really want to consider at the time because I was under pressure and I had to deliver my work. And at the time, I was living in Australia, in Sydney. So even though it looks like an amazing place from here with kangaroos everywhere, it was actually the place where I had struggled the most for work related times. Yes, and I felt there completely. Struggling and under pressure. So at once, I woke up a morning and I told myself, this is enough. I can see myself going down a deep, terrible path of probably going into depressions or burnout and so on. So that was 2.5 years ago from now.
Wow.
And I decided at that time to take a step back and to fly to a nice destination that would allow me to, take some time for myself and reflect on what I really needed to do in my life. So I went to Bali.
Oh, wow.
So it sounds also probably for people very, familiar for some reasons, or like the trendy place to go. But I can tell you that when I went there, it was definitely the nurturing place that I needed to find. And over there, I decided to do some retreats in order to, understand better what I have missed for so many years that did not allow myself to feel good, because I realized that if I had pains in my body or if I didn't feel great or a bit foggy, it's because I was definitely lacking some true self. So
Yeah.
that's a reason why I decided to get there, and I was not disappointed. So that I would say that's probably the moment where things really changed for me at that time.
Okay, that's such a good point, and we have done a couple of videos on the channel for mental health, and like you said, you felt like you were going into this phase where you would have mental health issues. So I think you did a great thing there to just step out of that and go into something where it helps your well-being, your whole well-being. So yeah, I will put
And
the
just
links
to
of
add
the
on
yeah, sure.
this, I would say that's something that I can recommend to our auditors today, that you might not reach that point where you feel that something is going wrong, but it's very important to, try to understand really who you are and how you can step out of whatever situations. If you don't feel very, 100% into it, then it means something else.
Yeah,
Because I'm personally, like, I would say very resilient, but I can also feel things from
no, of
the
course.
very beginning. So if I've pushed it that hard, it's because my brain was stronger than the rest, and I've told myself that it was fine, but it wasn't.
No, of course. And that's great. Like I said, it's very, very important to take care of your mental health, and so that's a great decision you made. And Ali, how about you? When did you feel
So,
like you had to make this transition to another
so,
career?
so Rahil, just for me, it was. I think if I look back, it was something that it was stacking up. So, long story short, like I made it really well within the investment banking world. I was there, and things were absolutely great. But at the same time, at the back of my mind, there was this voice which would say that this is not me. This is not who I am. Well, who are you? Like, what's the point? Like, I think the questions which I was asking myself was, what am I made for? What fulfills me? Where do I want to go with my life? And I just get that question would really, really bother me. And it and I went and I used to complain a lot. And I'm like, okay, this is not working, that's not working, I'm not happy this way, I'm not happy. And jokes apart, what actually happened was that last year in March, I hit my rock bottom. By rock bottom, I meant that I was like severely depressed, and I was just all low. I'd over time, I'd put on a lot of weight, and and I just felt that, you know, that's it. There's really really nothing else. And it was there was a day where I'd just given up hope that maybe there's nothing meant for me. I'm just meant to be on this planet, do a finance job, do an job within the banking industry, and that's it. Things on the outside will look really really nice, like you'd have the house and the car,
Yeah,
all the
material things.
materialistic good.
Yeah,
Exactly. But
exactly.
inside, right, the soul was empty. Like, and the soul will always be empty. And then what happened was that literally 2 3 days after that, it just dawned upon me that all through my life, right, I've been looking at the part of the glass that's half empty instead of looking at what I actually have. So I actually went on a journey of gratitude. So I just decided that I've spent so much of my life being ungrateful. Let me just take this part of my life and just be grateful for it. And I just started expressing gratitude for everything that came. And I think there was a powerful quote that I came from. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's from Tony Robbins, where he says that nothing happens to you, everything happens for you. And I think that was something very powerful for me. And then I went on this gratitude journey, and I didn't know where that was journey would take me. And so happened was one day there was like on Facebook this ad popped up on coaching, and I said, okay, let me check it out. Like, I would never check out Facebook ads, but something drew
Yeah.
me to that. And there was this seminar, and as I sat in this seminar, it was just one of those moments where I just sat there, and I just I just sat there. I'm like, wow, this is me. My purpose is that
Mm.
I'm privileged to help people find themselves. And um, and so yeah, just in other words, right? Like, what I'd realized was that I'd become a product of of my perceived notion of what society expected from me, rather than a product of who I am as an individual. And what I can all I can say is that I just found myself and my calling and my purpose, and that's how I came across coaching. Yeah.
Well, that's beautiful, both of you.
Thank you.
Do you know what? The word that you mentioned, fulfillment, right? And there's tons of people out in this world, and it's so funny. All the videos I've done, right? All the things that you guys have mentioned, it's so linked to everything we're trying to do and achieve on this channel. Because you spoke. Now we did two videos on education where we spoke about how now this is all our personal experiences. It's not a generalization. So
Yeah.
when we went to school, we never got a chance to follow our dreams or passions, or even like given time to understand or to know what our passion was, right, in our schools. And we kind of, society just pushes you into this career path, or it makes you think this is what you want to do. And then you keep on that, you go into that career path, or that journey. And then when once you're in your 30s or 40s or whenever, at any point in life, you reflect, and it's like, is this really what I want to do? I have no fulfillment, like you mentioned. My It's affecting my mental health, like Margot mentioned. Like, so there's so many things that we as a society need to look at, to change,
Absolutely.
and to really really analyze, like, where are we going wrong, why do we have so many issues and problems. Now, you two were both of you were brave enough, intelligent enough, and you had the opportunity to do it. So there's so many people out there who don't have this. They're scared, or they don't have the right tools, or they don't have the right resources to do what they love and enjoy. And I hope through these talks and these discussions, and that we can come up with solutions or ways, or even learn from someone's experience. Like, if someone out there is listening to you, and they can relate to your journey, and they're like, wow, this guy did this, or this lady did that, and maybe I can do the same thing. So that's what I want to now ask, right? This is obviously, for viewers out there, this is their experiences, and it won't apply to everyone. I always mention this, it doesn't apply to everyone. We're all different, we've all been through different journeys, we all come from different backgrounds. We might have some similarities. So if you can find that similarity, and hopefully that would help you, I just want to ask you, like, what advice, right, would you give to people out there having gone through something, if they've gone through something similar, if someone out there is looking to change their career path or go into something they're more passionate about, or something that gives them fulfillment, what advice would you give them to get out of that fear and get up and actually do something about it? Margot, I'll start again with you. Do you have any advice for anyone? Like, what helped you, to make that switch and to make that
Yeah,
change?
definitely. So I would say to keep hope first, because that's usually something that we lose in the process. Like we tend
Yeah.
to think, oh, I'm stuck somewhere. I do not know where to go next or what to do. As you said, we don't have the right resources, so it's really important that we all keep hope, because this can happen. And the two other, I would say, tips that I can give for this are, the first one, communication, because it's really important to communicate to yourself internally. It's saying, like, reassuring yourself, making sure that you're fine, that you actually you're brave enough, and then you can understand that you have the power within you to make changes, even though you don't believe it now, because you are in a position that brings you down. Society is not going right. We can see this with the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
But you need to understand that the power is within us, and any changes that happened in life, and if you look at history of our planet, great things that happened for humanity with a big H has come from people that trusted themselves and trusted their power, and communication with others as well, because it's one thing that we tend to forget within our society and our education system, as you mentioned earlier. We tend to keep everything within us, and we don't want to reach out when things are not going the right way, or when we
Great point.
doubt,
Yeah.
or when we do not want to show vulnerability to people. And I think this is the point that would make the world a better place, because being vulnerable means that you can just be authentic with others, and you can reach out for help, and you can also help others, mentor others. And there's so much in actually bringing up everyone towards a more positive and better future, than just bringing everyone down. So that's
That-
definitely communication. That's the key for that. And last point I would say is that we do not need to see this as a mountain. Like, it has to be taken step by step, in order to be done as we want to, in order to reach your happiness and your fulfilling life, and many other goals that you may have. Your dream can be touching the moon. Who knows? But it's possible if we actually do it step by step. So if you feel stuck, once again, things can't change from one day to another, but you need to believe in the process, because, as I mentioned for myself, and it will be the same for you, Ali, and I'm sure, Rahel, it's the same in some part of your story,
yeah.
that anything that has to be done in life can only be sustained and maintained over a long time, if we do it step by step, and you reassure ourselves that through the process things are going right or wrong, and we can readjust, so we get to this fulfilling goal in life, and we learn within the process, so that's great too.
Of course. Thank you. Those are some
Absolutely.
excellent points you mentioned. That Ali, you want to add anything to those?
Yeah, so I think that, like, that metaphor of the mountain was a great one, Margot. And something to your point, Rahil, which you mentioned about the schooling system. What came to my mind is that what I've come to learn is that in order to do anything right, 80% of it is mindset and 20% is actually the action.
Yeah.
And what our system world over has been focusing on is the action. And we are just speaking about the action, whereas 80% of everything is the mindset. So I just hope that at some point we can have classes in school where kids start with thinking about mindset, and it's not something, you know, that's, at one point it would be seen as woo woo. It's not that anymore. It's so important to have that mindset, to create that mindset, to actually proceed with the action which one wants to take. And the second point is that, when you mentioned about fear, so this is something which I actually learned only 4 weeks ago. Is one of those things that we always keep thinking that. At least I used to think that, I'll wait for a time when I'm not that scared, and then I'm going to proceed or take that jump. And I was on this course, and it was being conducted by Tony Robbins,
Yeah.
and he mentioned that that day is never going to come where we'll be okay with it. But how about seeing fear as something not to run away from, but something to dance with? So what he did was that he got someone else, and he's like, imagine this person's fear. Imagine if I'm resisting this person, how much effort I put in. But what if I just take his hands and I just dance around and he just waltzed? And it was just brilliant. And I believe that for everyone, right, dancing with fear means different things. So the question which I would like to actually reflect back to the audience is, what does dancing with fear mean for you? And you know, and whatever that is, um, you know, see what comes up. That's something that's coming up for me. And just another thing
So
that
viewers,
from
you can leave
two.
those in the comments, and that would be great, for us to read. If you are out there and you have some suggestions, that would be great to read out. So yeah, sorry, continue.
Absolutely. No, no, absolutely. That would be great. And to Margot's point, we're climbing up a mountain. And so many times we think that we don't know anything about a particular subject, but we want to do something, but we have nothing about it. But if we actually think about it, right, the chances are that if we put our scale, we took a scale of from 0 to 10, and 0 meant we know absolutely nothing about it, or 10 we knew absolutely everything about it, the chances are that we know more than 0 about any subject. And if that's really your purpose, imagine if you're on a 4 right now in 10. Instead of thinking of going from 4 to a 7 or 4 to an 8, what would it mean to just go from 4 to 4.1?
Mhm,
You
yeah,
know,
like
what is that
baby steps.
minor,
Yeah,
yeah, that baby step to
like
go from
Margot
4 to
mentioned. Yeah.
4.1? Exactly, exactly. So yeah, that's what's coming for me. Yeah, thank you.
Oh, that was great. Thank you, guys. It's amazing that I now get to speak to people and they're all speaking the same tune. It's so weird. You mentioned fear. We've done a video on fear. You mentioned vulnerability. I've done a video on vulnerability. It's
Wow,
like everything that you've mentioned. We've already thought of this, and we're all singing from the same tune, even though we all come from different backgrounds. I've never met you
absolutely,
guys in person. We just got in touch a couple of weeks ago, and yet we have so many similarities in the way we think and the way and what we believe we want to achieve. And that's exactly the point of this, to bring everyone who thinks like us. We can make a difference by coming together. And like Margot mentioned, communication. So let's talk to each other. If you have an idea, if you're going through something, you can always, and that fear always sets in. You're always scared to speak up, but let's dance with that fear and let's open up. Be
absolutely,
vulnerable, and we can definitely make a change. So
absolutely. So
For
right, I
sure.
just wanted to add something based
sure.
on what you just mentioned, is that last year, right, I was in a training program, and next to me, right, was sitting next to me, right next to me was this 93-year-old Italian woman. And
Wow.
during that training program, this was on vulnerability. And during that training program, she began to sob and cry, and she looked at me, and the words that came out from her mouth were that from the out we all look out different from the outside, but within we're all the same. And that just stuck to my head because that's so powerful, right? We think that we come from so many different cultures and backgrounds. Yes, there are differences, but somewhere down there we're all the same, right? We've all
Yep.
got the
We're
same
all
emotions, the
connected.
same
We're all
feelings.
connected.
Absolutely,
Definitely.
absolutely.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys. You've been absolutely wonderful. Is there anything else you would like to add that can help anyone out there to make that transition to go to a more fulfilling life, something that they can get rid of that fear and just push through.
The only thing I would like to say is trust yourself. Trust the within each one of us, right, is an entire universe. We spend so much of our time looking for advice from outside. We forget that within us it lies an entire universe. So trust yourself, and our mind is designed to keep us safe, and it'll always portray things worse than it actually is. But when the situation arises, it's not that bad. So just take that little step, and yeah, like just take that small little step that'll get you from a 4.1, and just, yeah, dance with fear.
Okay, yeah. Final point for me would be, to always keep your passion with you, and I think that's very important.
Definitely.
So, based on that, I would actually ask you, Rahil, because I've seen that you're really passionate about the real talk, and that you've created this channel a few weeks ago, and it's going amazing. I think because a lot of people are literally coming to you, and we are all bringing together something that resonates within us. So can you just give us a little bit more insights and why
Yeah,
and
well, I don't know if I mentioned any of my previous videos, but I think I probably did in the fear one, because obviously, whenever you want to do something new, you always have. We've spoken about it already now, and I wanted to do this for the past 2 years, but I always kept on making excuses and blah blah blah, and then we all got this pandemic. We're sitting at home, working from home, giving us more time to think about life and reflect on what's going on. And there's like, I just felt there was so much negativity out there, and there is, if you go on social media or any kind of media, right? And everyone, like, and I feel like I'm in such a privileged place. I've been blessed with a great family. Financially, we've always managed to get through. I've managed to study well, get a good career. How then can I help people now? I've got to a point. You talked about fulfillment. All these things are amazing. They're all materialistic things, not the family part, of course, but the career, the job, the money. But then how then can I feel like I'm in such a privileged position. What can I do to help people? And I always had these chats with people, or I see someone out there, and we're all talking the same language, but then I'm like, it's always they say empty barrels make the most noise, and they're the ones making the noise, and all the people that I think we can make a difference are quiet. And that's why I said the only way we can make a difference is we all join hands and come together. And because this is a social media era we're living in, so what better way to start than actually start a YouTube channel and call it The Real Talk, because we are talking about things that really matter to us. And it's like you said, it's been going amazingly well. I have people messaging us, telling us, can we come on, we want to speak about this or that, which is exactly what I wanted to do. And I don't like saying subscribe to the channel, blah blah, but that's just how we reach more people, because that's
Absolutely.
the only way I can grow this channel. And I want to get even more people on, even if you have a different view on something. Maybe we've missed something. I like difference of opinions. We don't have to all be the same way. We can challenge each other, and if we can all join hands, I don't know what's going to come of it. I have really big ambitions and dreams. I want to build schools and hospitals, and if we have the right people and the right resources, it's easier. I can't do this on my own. I need people like you out there. We can come together. We can have these discussions. We can come up with plans, to help people. Like, I grew up in Africa, and there's millions of people who need our help there, but we can't do anything. I only have a certain amount of resources. I can't go help millions of people, but if we are millions of people talking the same language, then we can help the next million. And like that, we can grow as a community, as a society. Rather than focusing on the negatives, we need to focus on the positives and bring those out. Unfortunately, our leaders haven't done the best of jobs. I mean, there are some great leaders out there, So I felt like it's up to us, if we are strength in numbers, strength in unity, strength in harmony, and if we can get all of that together, then my aim is to change things from this channel. And maybe today I'll be on YouTube, tomorrow I can go out there and do it physically, when I have the means to. But first I need to see who's out there, and we can come together, discuss, come up with ideas, and then take it from there. And hopefully, in a few years down the line, I want to be out there building schools, talking to people who want to have maybe build hospitals or research institutes. Yeah, it's a big dream, but let's start, like you said, step by step. Let's talk about it, get all the people that are interested in doing things like these, and you guys are brilliant at that. So yeah, and I know I've rambling on, but I hope
No,
Thank
I,
you.
I,
That's amazing.
yeah,
I hope I
that
made the
is,
points. Yes.
Yeah, people,
Yeah.
you need to remember that we're not alone. Like
Yeah.
one,
yeah,
your
absolutely.
voice is one extra voice to make things change, and
Exactly.
as you said, a better world, hospitals, schools, better workplace, all of this come together when we are just, a big community.
Of course. Of course.
Yeah, absolutely. I just loved every part of what you said, Rahil and Margot. And yeah, somewhere down there, what you just said is that something powerful that's coming from me is that you're bringing in like-minded people, like people with a similar thinking pattern to come together, and we can. And when it's two people when two people come together, it's not two brains thinking, it's more than two brains. Imagine that if
Yeah.
you get more and more people to come together, hopefully, fingers crossed, we're destined for making incredible changes in this world. So yeah,
I hope
absolutely.
so. But thank you so much, guys, for coming
Thank you.
on.
Thank you.
It's been a real pleasure, and we've had great chats even off air, and I hope we can continue this. And you're always welcome
Absolutely.
back. And thank you,
Thank you.
viewers, if you've stayed with us, for however long this video is gonna be. I really appreciate. I really appreciate it, and like I said, you're all welcome. Just send us a message, email, whatever it is. You could get in touch with us, and let's try and make this world a little bit better. And just by having conversations, discussions, sharing ideas, experiences. So thank you out there. Please hit that subscribe button, like, share, and see you all really, really soon. Thank you.